Hey, what is up guys? We're going to be doing a quick deck profile for Krawlers. This one is specifically updated with a lot of cards from Savage Strike, so without further ado, let's just get started. So right off the bat with monsters, we are going to be obviously playing 3 copies of Krawler Spine, destroys monsters and also has a big defense as well, so very nice. 3 copies of Axon because it destroys spells and traps, and again 1800 defense is pretty decent. 3 copies of Krawler Glyle, special summons some monsters from the graveyard, including link monsters, so definitely worth playing 3 of as well. Bumped up Receptor to 3 copies instead of 2. I think this card is just really amazing at what it does in adding cards from the deck, so it's really nice there. Our beat sticks, Krawler Dendrite, 2 copies, and Krawler Ranvier, also 2 copies. Not as useful in terms of effects compared to the previous 4, but they are still very nice cards. And of course, we're going to be playing our World Legacy World Armor. It works for flip effect decks, which is this, of course, and it also came out in the same set, meaning it was intended to be in this deck anyway. Playing 1 copy of them just because it's a nice 2500 beat stick if you bring it out, and I still very much so like the card. But of course, we want to talk about the new cards that's been updated from Savage Strike, of course, and we are playing Super Armored Robot Armed Black Iron Sea. So this is the new card, and its effect is, since it's a new card, if you have 3 insect monsters with the same name in your graveyard, this is why we're playing 3 copies of all of those. We want as many 3-ofs as possible. Special summon this card from your hand, then equip them to this card. You can send 1 monster equipped to this card by this card's effect to the graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with attack greater than or equal to the attack of the monster sent to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. It's mostly just the fact that you can bring out this huge as monster, so it's just really cool there. But of course, the additional effect, if you manage to actually pull it off, then sure. But overall, it's just a really, really great card, and I've been playing 2 copies of it. Works pretty well for me. Another new addition to the deck we're playing is 2 Subterra Gurus. This card's a really amazing card, also came from Savage Strike. You can add a Subterra card from your deck to your hand, except itself, so this is a flip effect. But there is another Subterra card we are playing in this deck as well, so we can add that card instead. But its other effect is you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field, change that monster, also this card, to face-down defense position. Obviously, if you have another Subterra card, then it becomes a quick effect. But overall, it's still a really great card to flip your other Krawlers back down again, and overall, it's been working pretty well for me. It's also an Earth monster, so you can still go for a lot of Link summons. Unfortunately, it's not an insect, it's a dragon, but that's not the big problem here. Also, a 1600 attack, one of your big beat sticks in the deck as well, and also 1800 defense. I can't complain about that. Alright, so with spells, we're playing 3 copies of World Legacy Survivor, of course, still a card we are going to be playing 3 of. In fact, it's more important now that we have the new Black Iron Sea, because we want to get as many Krawler cards to the graveyard to meet the requirements for its summon. We have World Legacy and Shadow, again, just really great cards. It works with Subterra Guru in the sense that Subterra Guru is still a flip monster, so it can actually pull off the effect as well, so very nice there. Still going to be playing 2 copies of Worm Bait because Worm Bait is just amazing, allowing you to bring out 2 instant materials to go for some link plays as well. Scapegoat, it dropped to 1 unfortunately, so we're just going to have to stick with the 1 card right there. But that is it for spells. Let's move on to traps. We're going to be playing 2 copies of World Legacy's Mind Meld. We don't really need as many of them as we normally do, but 2 definitely works really, really amazingly. Playing 2 Crusadia Krawlers, again, just the new addition from Soul Fusion, and also working pretty well for me. But of course, I've done these in other deck profiles, so don't really need to explain them again. World Legacy Pawns, again, just really amazing, allowing you to flip up and down the Krawler monsters, so I think 2 copies works amazingly well. Another new card that came out long time ago, just never played it in the deck, but someone else suggested it, was World Legacy Sorrow. Its effect is when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, while you control a co-linked monsters, you can negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, you can only activate this once per turn. I'm actually thinking about getting more copies of this. Right now I only have one of them, but if I had 2, maybe even 3, I will play 3 copies in this deck, because the thing is this, with Krawlers, how many times have you actually had co-linked monsters? It happens a lot. It happens almost every single turn, really. So World Legacy Sorrow is basically your solemn judgment, and it's just really amazing. I don't know why I only have 1 copy of it. Don't know why I only found and discovered this card right now, but it's just really, really amazing, and I definitely suggest you actually play more of them if you can. For a bit of defense, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Quaking Mirror Force. Sometimes your opponent wants to get through to you, and sometimes you just got to have that small bit of defense to keep yourself safe. To end things off with traps, we are playing 2 of the other new cards here, Subterra Succession. This card also came out in Savage Strike alongside Subterra Guru, and together this card is searchable off Guru, so it's definitely really nice, but its effects is also pretty decent. You can only activate one of these effects. Also, after that, you can set this card back down instead of sending it to the graveyard. So we're only playing 2. I might even drop this to 1 to put in a second copy of this, since this is constantly being reset again. So it's just really nice, but you have only one of these effects yet you can choose to activate. But let's go over it since it's a new card. So one of the effects is send 1 monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, you can add a flip monster from your deck to your hand with the same attributes, since they're all earths of course, so it's really easy, but a different name as the monster that was sent to the graveyard. So that's a really great card to just add stuff here. Second effect is send 1 flip monster from your hand or face up field to the graveyard, and if you do, add a monster from your deck to your hand with the same attributes but lower original level as the monster that was sent to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Subterra Succession per turn. So of course, if you had 2 of these, it would be a problem, but with the 1 alone, it's really amazing. It's mostly the first effect that we're going for, because we have a bunch of monsters with the exact same levels and just different names, and it just works such amazingly with this deck. It synergizes so well, and so far, I don't know, a lot of these new cards I've added to the deck have really boosted up the consistency here, and the plays are just really amazing as well. That's it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Alright, so with the extra deck, I'm just going to start off with Yugioh, just a card that we can go for. It's really nice, of course. For the Krawlers, we're not going to be playing as much. 2 Krawlers. We're also going to be playing 2 Neurogos, and of course we are playing 2 copies of Synapses. So let me just quickly focus that there. And yeah, so I'm playing 2-2-2, but these 2 are the ones that are constantly co-linked right to each other. So overall, the World Legacy Sorrow just works amazingly well in helping you actually negate stuff. Playing the 1 Subterra Behemoth Fiendus, I just thought it was a really nice card to now add in, since we actually are incorporating some Subterras into this deck. So really nice there. If you guys are actually wondering, I will not be building a Subterra deck, so don't expect that. The deck is actually risen up in price, in value, so it's quite expensive. If I actually want to build the deck, it might cost me a bit too much money. So for now, there won't be a deck profile for Subterras. Playing Mrs. Radiant, 2 copies of this because, again, more earth and boosting up the attack, definitely quite nice. Playing Decode Talker, of course, because you gotta have yourself some options. Akashic Magician, sometimes you just can bounce back monsters. Like the Thunder Dragons, just really annoying, and going for this is definitely quite nice. Playing a bit of the Nightmares, Cerberus, and Phoenix because just great utility cards, and the fact that they're linked to is just quite amazing there. And to end things off, we're playing the Summon Sorcerer, since most of your deck is all insects, and even the Black Iron Sea is just really amazingly consistent with this card as well. So overall, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was really fun to actually build and play now, considering we are using a lot of the new cards from Savage Strike. Works really well. So yeah, hope you guys have fun with this deck profile, and also hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.